Today, we live in a world filled with technological and scientific advancement. From the joystick video game controllers to smoke detectors to the knowledge that the moon was once part of the Earth, these advancements have made life easier for us and allows us to enjoy the world around us. However, one key event in history underlies many of these modern wonders: the space mission to the moon, Apollo 11. The Apollo space mission landed the first men on the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. It led to the United States' victory in the space race, making it a huge impact in science and technology.
The most important person involved in Apollo 11 was Neil Armstrong, who played a vital role to this mission and made it a success. Since he was born on August 5th, 1930, in Ohio, Armstrong had built a strong interest in flight and space exploration. He went to Blaine High School in Ohio, where he earned his student pilot license at the age of 16. At Purdue University, he earned a degree in aeronautic engineering. He later joined the fight in the Korean War, flying over 78 combat missions for the United States Air Force. When he returned, he joined the Developing National Aeronautic and Space Administration, also known as NASA, as a test pilot and engineer. He tested high-speed aircraft, such as the X-15, America's first spacecraft, for space research, as well as the military aircraft P-51 Mustang. In addition, he tested the Dinosaur, a short-lived spaceplane, which was the forerunner of the modern-day space shuttle.
Before Apollo 11, Armstrong participated in numerous space missions. For example, Apollo 8 was the first space mission to successfully orbit around the moon, where Armstrong served as a backup crew member. Although Armstrong did not play a huge role in these missions, he gained experience in space for the future Apollo 11 mission. During the 1950s and 1960s, the United States was locked in a standoff against the Soviet Union, known as the space race, that took place during the Cold War. This was a competition between the two nations for supremacy over science and technology, with space being the common battle arena. At first, the Soviets were in the lead after launching the Sputnik 1 in 1957, the world's first man-made object to enter space. Later, Yuri Gagarin of the Soviet Union became the first human in space. However, on May 25, 1961, President John F. Kennedy delivered a speech to Congress and the American people about landing the very first man on the moon. He convinced America not to stay behind, but to move on in this new era. Kennedy told the American people that it would be a hard task. However, he believed that America was home to brave men and women who have the ability to achieve the impossible. He sent $25.4 billion to the Apollo program to accomplish this daring task.
On July 16, 1969, a Saturn V rocket carrying Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins was launched from Kennedy Space Center in Miami, Florida. Eventually, they landed in the Sea of Tranquility on the moon. As the famous saying goes, Armstrong makes the first step on the moon for mankind, and that step led to amazing new discoveries that would forever change the world. They could see the powdery white surface, as well as the desert-like terrain of the moon, which was filled with football field-sized craters. They experienced the lack of constant vibration, unlike that of Earth, as well as a weak gravitational pull due to the lack of atmosphere that made it difficult for them to keep their feet on the ground. They gathered 47.5 pounds of lunar material and took pictures of the terrain of the moon. Also, they performed a lunar ranging retroreflector experiment in which they attempted to measure the distance between the Earth and the moon using laser ranging, allowing for greater accuracy. Armstrong and Aldrin noticed that the different angles of sunlight changed the color of the moon's surface from gray to white and experienced wide differences of temperature ranges from 180 degrees to negative 160 degrees Fahrenheit due to the sun. Armstrong stated that the moon was like a barren desert on Earth without any signs of life and saw that the Earth looked like a lovely, fragile blue marble. After spending 21.5 hours on the moon, the three astronauts returned to Earth.
After landing in the Pacific Ocean, Armstrong and his fellow astronauts were seen as heroes all across the nation, premiering in television shows and in the news. At the same time, scientists were using the data collected and the experiences of the astronauts to learn more about the moon. Lunar rock samples proved that the moon was created from Earth's collision with another object in space. From the photographs, they found that the craters had been formed by meteor strikes. In 2004, the Apollo 11 moon samples proved that the lunar soil had more energy than Earth's current fossil fuels. This knowledge led to the construction of numerous outposts on the moon to provide solar energy for the Earth. Using the data from the Lunar Laser Ranging Retroreflector experiment, scientists were able to accurately determine the moon's orbit. They were also able to find that the moon was moving away from the Earth at 3.8 centimeters a year, and that it has a liquid core that makes up 20% of the moon's radius. The Saturn V rocket, first used in the Apollo 11 space mission, was the world's most strongest rocket at the time, and was able to carry Armstrong and his fellow astronauts to the moon. It was a component of Apollo 11 that not only inspired future space missions, but also made them a success. Apollo 11 also led to the creation of GPS, Global Positioning System, and reconnaissance satellites in space to serve people on Earth by providing more accurate navigation for traveling. It was Armstrong's idea to create the International Space Station, a habitable scientific research center where many countries would come together, such as the Soviet Union and the United States, to learn more about the unknown depths of space.
Through all of this, Apollo 11 has created jobs for more than 400,000 people in engineering, construction, and planning. Apollo 11 has certainly led to the explosion of knowledge and scientific achievements, but changed the mentality of the people of the world. It increased the esteem that the American people had for their country during an uneasy era of war and uncertainty. Reaching the moon made everyone realize that even a deemed impossible task can be achieved. By working with each other on a common task, people across the nation were brought closer together. Furthermore, people saw the moon and Earth differently now that their knowledge on these two astronomical bodies has expanded.
Apollo 11 has even extended its reach into today's world. The CAT scanner, which was once used to detect defects in spaceship components, is now used in detecting cancer. Smoke detectors initially made for Apollo 11 are now used today to save lives and prevent deaths from fire-related situations. Also, computer microchips that was once used in the guidance system of the Eagle, the spaceship used in Apollo 11, are widely used in the technological world today. Furthermore, the memory foam used to make pillows and mattresses, and famous for returning to its original shape, was first created for aircraft seats. Lastly, NASA pioneered the first versions of the water filter, which was used to kill bacteria in water taken into space during Apollo 11. Billions of people today depend on the sanitation of water for the maintenance of their health and everyday lives, making the water filter one of the most important impacts of Apollo 11.
Although the primary goal of the Apollo 11 space mission was to land the first man on the moon, it expanded the use of technology to achieve even greater challenges and gave the United States the leading supremacy it had today. Led by Neil Armstrong, all the astronauts on the Apollo 11 mission set out to explore, and it was an event that forced scientists and engineers to develop a new way of transportation, the rocket, and new inventions in order to achieve such a task. Apollo 11 exchanged many new ideas and discoveries about the moon with the rest of the world. It led to the United States' victory in the space race against the Soviet Union, proving the United States' superiority in science and technology to the world.